Hey guys, it's Rich with the Spokane Home Guy Group and One Property Network. And again, I'm joined by Mike Hogan with Chimney Rock Mortgage. And we are going to give you an update for the first quarter, all things happening in real estate and mortgage. Really from March to April, a little bit of an update there. So, for the month of March, it was actually pretty exciting for real estate prices for Spokane County and some of the surrounding areas. We saw a pretty decent jump in real estate prices, nearly 5%, which brought our average sale price up to 462,000, or just a little bit over. We saw closed sales jump substantially year over year. And the other thing that's been exciting, really just for the strength of the real estate market, is that we've seen roughly a 20% increase in inventory since the month of January. So came in with just a little over 1,500 active homes on the market. When I looked at it last week, we're sitting right at 1,800. So it's been a nice jump for inventory, just kind of what we need. And kind of in that same time period, get some great news with inflation. But
It depends on what you think. I mean, certainly the inflation numbers that came out last week were not very friendly. The Federal Reserve doesn't like them. They're probably pushing back any rate cuts for a little bit, a while, and it's obviously moved mortgage rates up. I mean, that's to be the bearer of bad news. The good thing, though, and if you and I have talked in the past, and mentioning how real estate's gone up 5% recently. I mean, that's really a good thing for homeowners. And, if you're on the fence about trying to buy, the sooner you can buy and start building that equity, the better off you're going to be. I mean, that's one of the huge benefits of owning a house is you not only do you get to pay down what you bought as a for savings, you also will get equity in your house as it continues to appreciate in value.
yeah, and if you look at, if you bought a house in the month of February and you owned it for 30 days, and you bought a house at 440,000 in February. Well, in March it was worth 462, and so for all intents and purposes, you added $22,000 for keeping the lights on, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yep. And so, and we've talked about it several times of, if we're waiting for a market crash or something along those lines, we either A, have a heck of a lot of inventory that needs to hit the market, a lot of inventory, probably up over 3,000 homes available, or we need, I guess I would say rates to spike into the 10s or 11s for prices to come down dramatically.
Yeah, and I don't envision rates spiking to 10 for 11%. I mean, yes, the inflation numbers last week were higher than what the Federal Reserve Bank wanted, but they are less than they were 2 years ago. So inflation is coming down. I don't know. It seems when I go to the grocery store, I don't feel that necessarily, but the numbers are getting better. I mean, you would know too. I just don't think that there's going to be a inventory glut. I mean, there's still everything you read both nationally and locally is we need more housing units.
Mhm. Yeah, it's hard to get rid of a 2 or 3 or 4% mortgage. Probably just as hard as it is to make the decision to get into a 6 or 7% mortgage. And people that have the 2, 3, 4% mortgage, they didn't have it when they bought a house. I mean, like the large majority of people.
No, most of them refinanced into that rate. Most of them were at a rate that in the range of the 5 to 6% that we talked about. But the one thing that you miss out on when you're talking about equity building is if your house, and when you use the example of 440, well, if that was half of that amount, then half of your equity would have built at half of that rate too. So
Sure.
there is something to be said still for if you want to step up into a bigger house, you can expect that your equity will grow in larger numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if somebody's getting into the market, again, like, I mean, is the conversation any different as far as affordability, or like what options are you exploring these days with people for
Well, I
affordability?
mean, there are some things you can do with affordability. We've talked in the past about rate buy downs, either permanent or temporary. That would certainly help with some affordability. You could also look at sometimes an adjustable rate mortgage. There are some areas where that might help. Um, but those are some things that you can do to try to make it more affordable. If you think you need to have a down payment, you don't need to have a down payment. There are down payment assistance programs to help you. So, I mean, to me, I would encourage you to either talk to myself or talk to Rich or someone on his team about what it's going to look like and how you can get yourself into a house if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's absolutely worth exploring it, even if it's a not right now. At least it gives you an idea of what options are out there, what payments might be. and just have a a consultation. I know on our team we do them for free. I'm sure you guys do
We
too.
absolutely do
Yep,
them for free.
yep,
Yep.
yep. So if you are on the fence and thinking about buying a home, or you're actively in the market right now, number one, I would encourage you to have somebody be a second set of eyes on your mortgage fees and structures. And Mike and his team are great for that. Thinking about getting into the market, love to sit down and have a strategy session where we go over what your goals are, have a game plan, and get you into motion into buying a home. And we can be reached at 509-990 sold.
And I could be reached at 509-747-1300.
Awesome.